Good day, I'm Hulda Kamati and I'm your tutor for Advanced Certificate in Primary Education, Natural Science and Health Education, Acp-Nshe11. What will the papers look like? It's a 16-hour assignment. It's got 130 marks. To prepare for your assignment, you must look at the objectives in the study guide and the subject, and also do more research from the biology book grade 11 and 12 by Apple de Klerk. What is the aim of doing this assignment? The questions were set up to correlating all the content from the study guide. The whole aim of doing this assignment is to develop understanding in theoretical concepts. It will also help you value basic competencies in preparation for answering exam questions. Let's look at question 1. Question 1 is dealing with the composition of air. Here you need to describe the composition of air. What is the air made out of? The atmosphere by naming the gases and also the percentages of them. You must also apply this question to global warming and depletion of the ozone layer. You must in details also explain and know the effects of pollution by discussing the dangers of pollution. Let's look at question 2. Here question 2 is also dealing with pollution, but here you need to be able to differentiate between rural and urban areas. You have to mention what rural is and what is urban. And when you are given a picture, you must be able to outline the difference in pollution in both. Where does most pollution occur and what can be done to reduce the pollution? And here you have to explain in terms of what can we as humans do and what can the government also do in order to reduce pollution. Let's look at question 3. Question 3 here deals with energy values of different nutrients. So you have to know that all food products has energy values of different nutrients. For example, if you give an example of a biscuit, the total energy value will be 25 kilojoule. So here we are saying that different people requires or need different energy intakes. For example, you can classify them according to their age, to their gender, activities, and state of being. You can also classify it further. Like for example, if I have to give an example of gender, you can explain it in a way that you can say babies requires less than teenagers. Gender, we are talking about males and female. Which one requires more energy? Will it be a male or will it be a female? The activities that we are talking about here, we are talking about that is it light work? Does a person do moderate work or does it do heavy duty? And then the state of being, we are talking, for example, a pregnant woman. Does she require less energy intake or does she require more energy intakes? Here, you must also know that we get 7 different nutrients. Let's look at question 4. Question 4 deals with water and the balance in your body. We are talking about the excretory system and the functions. Know how water is balanced in the body and label parts of the excretory system and function. You must also differentiate between renal artery and vein and aorta and venal cava. You must also know which blood vessels carries deoxygenated and oxygenated blood. The different concentration in urine during summer and winter should also be emphasized. Let's look at question 5. Question 5, the most important thing here is to know the external structure of the heart. You must know that the heart has 4 chambers and 4 blood vessels. Each chamber is connected to a blood vessel. The two blood vessels bring blood to the heart, and then the other two takes away blood from the heart. The two blood vessels carries oxygenated blood, and then the other two deoxygenated blood. And you must also know that the heart is divided into two parts, and you must also name them, the left and the right. This question also deals with the effects of cholesterol. Too much of cholesterol, what does it do? It leads to the blockage of the coronary arteries, and then the coronary arteries, we are talking about the blood vessel that supply heart muscles with oxygen and nutrients. This should be outlined correctly. Let's look at question 6. Question 6 here deals with the menstruation cycle, and in your assignment you are given a graph. So you must know the menstruation cycle. You must also focus on the healthy status of a pregnant woman for normal growth of the fetus, the process of birth. For example, you have to know what is going on there at the process of birth. The fetus head must face the cervix, the contraction of the uterus muscles. You must know that the cervix open 10 centimeters wide. You must also explain in terms of the fetus lives through the vagina. We are talking about the process of birth. And also with that, you must differentiate between two types of hormones, and also discuss the advantages and the disadvantages of contraceptives by naming them, by mentioning their functions, and by also explain their reliability. Let's look at question 7. Question 7 is a bit broad. It's talked about genetics. Now with the genetics, you have to differentiate between the different types of crossings. For example, we get monohybrid and punnett square. Also, the picture that you are given, you must explain it in terms of the visible inherited characteristics which are physically, and they are appearing in that picture on your assignment. Let's look at question 8 and 9. Question 8 and 9 deals with the types of brains. You must know that we have 3 types of brain, and you must also be able to mention them. And then you must also outline the most importance of the spinal cords. What is important about the spinal cord? The different types of neuron, the sensory, the motor, the relay, the intermediate, and their function. Question 10, 11, and 12 deals with the different types of STDs. You must be able to discuss and to name and also to point out the different types of STDs. Here we are also talking about the classification of living organisms, and you must be able to list them. You must also be able to, when you get a plant part, you must be able to label it and to identify it, and you must also be able to differentiate a plant cell from an animal cell. I wish you all the best of luck with your assignment. If you need my help on something, contact me on my email address below. This way I can give you a well-structured answer.